So I heard you want to beat the lost sector fast. Let's get those exotics. So first, I'll explain a bit about this guide while I show you the location. Then, I'll show you the build that we're going to be using today. And finally, we'll get right into the walkthrough. So today's lost sector is very difficult for fast clears. I don't recommend farming it unless you really don't want to wait. If you want to do it, then you're in the right place, as this guide will help get you the fastest clears possible. In this video, I'll use a class-specific build that I'll show you in a second, but a very effective universal build is in the description that all classes can use. Best part is it uses no exotics. And now that you know how to get there, let's get right into the build. For today's lost sector, we'll be dealing with unstoppable and barrier champions. With this in mind, we'll be taking advantage of my Strand Poison build on Warlock. For the weapons, we'll be using Osteostriga, a Glaive, and a Linear Fusion Rifle. Osteostriga will stun overload champions for us. This weapon is truly the star of the show, as it does fantastic damage from surprisingly long ranges for an SMG and poisons targets towards the end of the mag. What really ramps up Osteostriga's power though is our exotic of choice, Necrotic Grip. With this exotic equipped, every Osteostriga kill will fire off an AoE poison explosion that does damage to all enemies nearby. And this isn't small damage by any means. If all the enemies nearby are the same as the one you just killed, the poison damage is enough to kill them completely. This pair is just fantastic for lost sectors. The Glaive is here to destroy unstoppable champions. The best part about it is we can kill them without the use of any of our heavy ammo. Another great part about Glaives is that they actually synergize with Necrotic Grip, since they count as melee hits, and Necrotic Grip's Poison perk procs for melee hits as well as Osteostriga. Finally, our Linear Fusion Rifle is here for safe damage on the boss and champions. Now for our class, we'll be on Strand. For our grenade, we're grabbing Shackle to suspend barrier champions, allowing us to not need to stun them with weapons. Now for our fragments, we'll be using Thread of Evolution, Finality, Generation, and Mind. Thread of Finality creates threadlings for getting finishers, which is just a bit of free damage for us. Evolution makes these threadlings much stronger. Thread of Generation gives us grenade energy for dealing damage. This fragment works well with sustained damage weapons, so Osteostriga makes great use of it. Finally, Thread of Mind will make our Shackle Grenade's suspend effect last much longer. Also, it is worth noting that our melee, Arcane Needle, also synergizes with our exotic armor piece. Necrotic Grip creates the same poison explosion with melee kills, as well as Osteostriga. Arcane Needle seemingly has infinite range, so these synergize excellently. For your stats, as always, you'll want 100 resilience for 30% damage reduction, and as much discipline as possible. For mods, you'll want to use ones boosting your ammo economy. Heavy Ammo Finder and Special Ammo Finder are key. Then for your chest and legs, you'll want Reserve and Scavenger mods correlating to your Linear Fusion. I'm using a Void Linear, so I grabbed Void Reserve and Void Scavenger. And with the build out of the way, let's get into the walkthrough. Alright, so hopping in, the first thing you're going to need to do is use your Osteostriga to clear down these adds. Now as you can see, getting one add down with Osteostriga is actually enough poison damage to completely eradicate everything around it, as long as it has the same HP as the one you just killed. This gun is absolutely fantastic for ad clear. Now basically, like I said, we're just going to clear this room out, and then there's going to be an anti-barrier champion in the back. Now I do recommend holding the back end here, either this right or left side, until you don't see ads anymore, and then you can start jumping upstairs. Now you're not going to want to jump the gun there, just be sure that there's no ads when you do decide to jump to the next level. Otherwise you will die. But right here is a pretty good angle to deal with the anti-barrier, so when you're ready to do that, you'll just throw your Shackle Grenade and you will linear the boss down. Dies very, very easily. And then you'll just clear out the rest of the room, and then the next door will open. When the next door opens, it's the same exact thing. You will just be using your Osteostriga, absolutely melting through these ads. It's actually disgusting how good this gun is. After you clear this hallway, you can proceed to the next room. Now when you finish this room, there's going to be a gladiator in this hallway. You're going to want to keep your distance because he does quite a bit of damage. If he hits you twice, you will die. So, you know, you might as well throw your Shackle Grenade because you're not going to need it for a second here. And when you enter this room, you're going to want to take care of this Scion as soon as possible. And now it's going to be the same thing. We're going to be clearing ads and we're going to be killing an anti-barrier champion. The thing is though, there's a bit more Scions in this room, but what I'm sure you've noticed by now is there are 3 turrets. You're going to want to take care of them as soon as possible, and if you're not, then use this little cheese spot that I'm standing in right now. This gives you the best cover in the room while also giving you a vantage point to deal with the ads. Now again, that healing rift is so nice since it spawns those threadlings. It just gives you a bit of free damage. It's offense and defense in once. So just sit here, use your healing rift and peak shot with your Osteostriga, and just be careful, be safe with it. After you think you're pretty good, everything's pretty clear, then you can proceed forward and take care of that last turret. But I always recommend heading back to that cheese spot. I'm not doing that right now because I get a little bit impatient, but you're going to want to play safe, guys. It's very easy to die here, as you see I did just now. Now I'm leaving it in as a cautionary tale. You are not going to want to do what I just did. You're just going to want to keep heading back to that cheese spot. Respawning back in, I'm just going to hold my distance. I am not going to overextend like I did last time. But again, it's just a bunch of ad clearing until the anti-barrier spawns. And that's part of what makes this lost sector so long, guys. It's the fact that you can't just skip through like on the best lost sectors. You have to literally kill everything until the boss room, which is quite ridiculous. But now it looks like the anti-barrier has spawned, so it's going to be the same thing. We're just going to suspend him with our grenade, and this time we're going to use our super, but we could have just used our linear fusion if you didn't want to use your super. Now, after the room is cleared, we will proceed forward into the final boss room actually already. Now, first thing you're going to do when you get here is follow the path that I'm taking. It's going to be 2 unstoppable champions right here, and you are just going to glaive them down. Now, the way that you're doing this glaving is to hold your block button down, and you just melee them down. Now, when you hold the block button, that makes your melees happen much faster, which obviously increases your overall DPS. When they get unstunned, you could just shoot them down, or you could just melee them to restun them. And when they're shooting that little gun at you, just block, as that gives you 97% damage resist. So honestly, glaives just trivialize unstoppables so much that if there were 10 unstoppables, they still wouldn't be able to kill you. It's actually crazy how good glaives are. Take care of them, and then after that, you could just start the damage on the boss. Now I'm just going to use my linear, but if you saved your super from before, then you can use it here. You can use Osteostriga if his head is hiding like it is currently. Doesn't matter too much. Now, from this point, it's very easy to kill the boss. The only thing you need to watch out for is ads coming behind you and coming in front of you. But it's really easy to just watch out for that. And it's really easy to defend against that because we have broken Osteostriga and Necrotic Grip. Not much that they could do about it. Also, these ads will be giving us so much super energy, so we already got our super up, we're able to use that on the boss, and he's already so low. Now, if he would just show his head, there we go. We could just start linearing him, and that's going to be it, guys. It's really simple. The lost sector is really easy. It just takes quite a while. Now, before you destroy your mouse clicking off of this video to go farm with your new strats, I'd like to re-grab your attention for 10 seconds. Only 2% of you are subscribed. This is so sad. Now here's a trade offer. I give good guide, you give good sub. I post daily content on this channel. You can expect daily Lost Sector guides at a minimum, but I also have some very fun Destiny 2 videos planned. Either way, thanks for watching, good luck farming, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next Lost Sector.